Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I as always am Grestar and this is another reaction to a death battle, Leonardo versus Jason, the Red Ranger from Power Rangers. So of course make sure to click on the link in the description below to go to the official release first. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Watch that there, then come back here and we'll watch it together. So yes, Leonardo from TMNT and Jason from Power Rangers. This should be interesting enough. It's hard, I mean, like, okay, so the reason they were picked, obviously, is they both have to do with martial arts, and they're both, like, the leaders of their respective groups. Even if I never thought Leonardo was my favorite, because Donatello's the best. Yeah, I don't know. Just trying to think ahead of time of, like, how their feats and stuff. Well, okay, first, I don't know their feats, right? From what I do know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is definitely a more serious franchise. I mean, if you look at, like, the comics, you know, there's, like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Not so much like the cartoons necessarily, and certainly not the movies. But like the comics are more intense. I don't know if Power Rangers has something similar. I only know of Power Rangers from their, I was about to say their cartoon, but it's not, from their show, you know? And that is absolutely campy and just good fun. And it's not to say that you can't get powerful feats from that, but like Leonardo's running around with 2 katana, you know? You could cut Jason up. Because as far as martial arts are concerned, like, frankly, I would assume that Leonardo has it down better. But then, like, are we gonna bring in Jason's, like, Zord and everything like that? You know? So, I don't know, it's hard to say. Frankly, it just means that I have to wait until the analyses portions so that I can actually have some idea of what might happen. So, with that, let's get to watching. Alright, death battle, Leonardo versus Jason.
When I was a kid, there was nothing better than watching my Saturday morning too.
What? Teen Titans wasn't on there? No, it wasn't. Cause like I watched Shaolin Showdown, but I didn't have the channel for Teen Titans. I mean, I guess it must have been for a while, but not when I wanted to watch it.
Like Leonardo, head honcho of the teenage.
Because like I was only able to watch Teen Titans on the rare occasions we went on a vacation and like, you know, we stayed in a hotel because they had the channel.
For this bout, we'll be
I don't know.
to the characters themselves.
That means
So no Zord,
swords,
okay.
No turtlenecks and no last-minute power of friendship. Just a good old-fashioned one-on-one. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
See, if it's just one-on-one, I'm inclined to say it would be Leonardo. But let's see what they both have to offer.
From the vastness of space to the eerie depths of the ocean, few places remain as mysterious and unknown as the New York City sewer system.
Anything could be down there. Killer alligators, mole people, or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
4 ordinary domestic terrapins transformed into humanoid superheroes by a chance.
I want to watch the second TMNT movie again. I watched the first one recently, and I got a lot of it mixed up with the second, honestly.
Who decided to name them
And
after
I
Renaissance
liked the second one.
You know, even by comic book standards, this origin story is pretty freaking weird.
Yeah.
Master Splinter trained them as ninja, and the group formed a daring crime-fighting team. But every team needs a leader.
Donatello did machines, but tactics? Nah, Raphael was tough, but way too hot-headed. And Michelangelo? Well, we all know he got dropped as a kid. So the obvious choice was the true blue Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well,
yeah, close enough. Of all the turtles, Leonardo was the most studious and focused when it came to Splinter's lessons.
That he was.
And soon adopted the principles of Bushido.
Kind of weird since that's a samurai code and he's a ninja, but...
Well, you know, it's
The
fine.
modern tenets of Bushido have evolved over the centuries, but it essentially boils down to 8 virtues. Righteousness, courage, compassion, respect, honesty, honor, duty, and self-control.
Okay.
All of which frankly describes Leonardo to a T.
AKA, he's super dedicated to being a goody two-shoes. And he's a badass when it comes to fighting. He's like the Bruce Lee of reptiles. And since he's a turtle, Leo's got super speed and super strength.
I'm not sure the science checks out on that one.
He's also got that super tough shell and some radical ninja weapons.
Right, but before we go any further, we should address that there are multiple iterations of Leonardo across different media and timelines.
Yes, absolutely.
As none of them can really be considered the main one, we're taking all standard versions into account, or anything that's reasonable, consistent, or viable across.
I was gonna say, what's
multiple
non-standard then?
So we're
but
not
okay.
including anything that's too out of the ordinary, like those weird double mutations or that time he became a goddamn dragon. I mean, good on you, Leo,
Oh.
but that's a little out of your typical
Wow.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Leonardo
Okay.
is a master of Niten Ichiryu, a
Didn't know that
Japanese
was a
fighting
thing at
style
all.
using twin katana. Although Leo's swords are typically a more recent variant called ninjaken, basically just katana without the curve.
Still way better than wielding tiny forks or a literal stick. Seriously, who picked out the other turtle's weapons?
Leonardo's ninjaken are incredibly deadly, even sharp enough to slice through metal.
But he still finds ways to break those things all the time. Good thing he's also got kunais, smoke bombs, shuriken, climbing claws, grappling guns, hell, most of the Batman-approved gear.
I didn't know about all
In
that.
his latest outing, he's even got this odachi, basically the
Oh.
claymore of ninja swords, but it's super special.
Right, with a swing of the blade, it can open portals that can take its wielder anywhere from across the room or all the way
Really?
to Tahiti.
Really?
For a vacation! Yeah!
Oh, be careful! Bending the rules of space could be catastrophic.
Yeah, relax, Wiz. I totally have what it takes.
Totally.
What's up?
Oh.
Okay, maybe I'll go with the staycation instead.
Probably for the best. Weapons aside, Leonardo has proved skilled enough to master rare ninjutsu knowledge such as the Healing Hands mantra, a meditation technique.
Say goodbye to that nasty migraine or pesky stab wound.
Not quite potent enough to heal fatal wounds, but useful nonetheless.
Okay.
Other than that, the dude's fast enough to outrun explosions and has even dodged lightning.
This enemy in particular was specifically granted the power of a storm, implying these bolts are comparable to natural lightning. Therefore, Leonardo must be able to react to things 280 times faster than sound.
Ha! And you thought turtles were slow. Also, he's strong enough to push over a giant pillar to crush a cockroach monster. Go toe-to-toe with Baron Drexum, who survived this explosion, and held open the jaws of a monster-fied T-Rex.
The Tyrannosaurus
That's cool.
is theorized to have had a bite force of 12,800 pounds per square inch, 6 times more powerful than an alligator.
And best of all, even across multiple timelines, good old Leo is usually the one to take down the turtle's biggest villain and least useful kitchen utensil, the Shredder. No wonder he's the leader. Leo's a boss.
Sure, he may have a habit of questioning his own abilities and decisions, but hey, he's a teenager.
He is.
Par for the course.
One thing's for sure, he's a mean, green fighting machine who's always up for a shell of a good time.
Taste cold
Right.
steel.
Well, that was Leonardo. Honestly, yeah, a lot more than I knew. And I know he's been in previous death battles.
After
I don't remember them.
10,000 years,
I keep
the
telling
evil
you.
Interstellar witch Rita Repulsa was finally released from her long-standing prison.
Which, and I need to point this out, was an actual space dumpster.
Oh.
Gross. No wonder she was so pissed off that she decided to attack Earth on the spot.
To combat her vile magics, the good-natured sage in a tube, Zordon, sought out a team of heroes, and for whatever reason, specifically requested 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans.
Of course.
Not that, not teenagers.
I feel ya, Invader Zim.
The 5 teens connected to the Morphin Grid, an energy field that transformed them into the mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
That's right.
Go Power Rangers! I never get tired of doing that. And if that wasn't cool enough, each ranger was bonded to a giant robot dinosaur.
Which we're
There
not
was
talking
the
about
blue
here
Triceratops,
because
the yellow
we're not
saber-tooth
counting
tiger,
those.
The black mastodon, the pink pterodactyl, and finally, the red tyrannosaurus.
This would go to the Red Ranger and leader of the team, Jason Lee Scott.
Jason was a pretty chill and level-headed guy, and already good enough at martial arts to be teaching classes.
He's skilled in Kenpo, Taekwondo, Judo, and notably the more unknown Shinkido, a mix of
Shinkido,
karate
huh.
and Japanese sword fighting.
Cool.
And he dabbled in hip-hop keto. But to get all the martial arts skill he'd ever need, all he's gotta do is hold out that mighty power coin and yell,
Morphin' time.
oh yeah, chills man, every time.
Morphing into his Red Ranger form did indeed grant Jason an unprecedented level of martial arts mastery. Even Billy, the Blue Ranger, who barely knew any martial arts at all, became a fist-fighting master after morphing.
The Red Ranger form also boosts Jason's speed and strength to superhuman levels. And see those sparks? That's the Morphin Grid taking hits for him. And it'll keep doing that until it's overloaded from too many attacks. Good guy Grid over here. Where do I get one?
Jason is a powerhouse, focusing on strong, high-impact moves like his Power Punch to send foes flying across the battlefield.
And he can use the energy of the grid to take a bite out of Putty with his Tyrannosaurus Charge. But when punches and kicks aren't enough, he's got a bunch of colorful weapons that definitely aren't toys. No
Definitely
matter how
not.
plasticky they look.
like his wrist communicator, which doubles as a teleporter.
And the Blade Blaster is both a knife and a gun. A gun knife. A knife.
And for tougher fights, he can...
Alright, Wiz,
No.
what's the over-under on my modification here working?
Are you sure about this? We already have enough holes in the floor.
Oh, please, Wiz, I know what I'm okay!
Good, glad to hear it.
I'm not okay!
Well played, well
For
played.
tougher fights, Jason can also summon the Power Sword, a unique blade that can slice through even the most powerful of monsters. It's also a key component to the Power Blaster.
Which is, let me guess here, powerful.
Yes.
Ah.
The Power Blaster can destroy creatures even the Dinozords have trouble with.
Though Power Ranger rules keep them from busting out the big guns right away.
Of course.
Right, they technically cannot escalate a fight, so unless the more powerful weapons are deemed necessary, they're generally considered off limits.
So dumb.
Regardless, the Red Ranger is incredibly impressive even without his weapons.
He's strong enough to lift boulders way bigger than him.
Scaling this boulder to Jason's own height, we can estimate it weighs a little over 69 tons.
Nice.
And the Yellow Ranger, who has the same basic powers as Jason, pushed around a much larger boulder that, when using the same scaling method, appears to weigh over 11,000 tons.
Wow.
These two can run so fast they kick up huge clouds of dust behind them. And in a later series, Power Rangers in Space!
Whoa.
The Rangers could keep pace with the supercar Storm Blaster.
Technically, every Ranger draws from the same source of power, the Morphin Grid, so it's fair to at least compare Jason to other Ranger teams. Like when the SPD Green Ranger chucked a car through the air.
Red is quick enough to dodge lightning, at least for a bit, and tough enough to survive the Power Ranger Command Center exploding while he was inside. That's not even the first time the place blew up. Man, that building's seriously been through the ringer.
To be fair, it's important to remember that the Ranger powers are not permanent, and his connection to the Morphin Grid has limits. If he takes enough damage and loses his morph, Jason goes back to being a normal human being, albeit one who is a talented fighter in his own right.
But with the glorious red spandex and Robo T-Rex at his back, the power lies on his side.
Except he doesn't have the T-Rex for this fight. Just pointing that out again. All right.
Alright, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's tougher than I
But
thought it
first
would be.
all this time-
It's time for a death battle! And pause. All right, so right now I'm thinking actually that Jason might win. I'm just trying to think. So like, as far as reaction speed goes, the fastest I remember for both of them was a lightning feat. And it's not like a light versus a lightning feat, because that would be a big difference, but they were both instances of lightning. And so if they could both dodge lightning, they did specify like for Jason like for a time, but we have reaction speed right there. And as far as movement speed is concerned, it seemed to be that Jason had the advantage with like kicking the dust clouds up and in space, like being able to like outrun or at least keep pace with the vehicle, whatever. They both have teleporting abilities, Leonardo through a particular sword and Jason through his like wristwatch or whatever. And I would think that Jason would have that more on hand or more easily accessible. Maybe the teleporting capabilities are not to the same like extent as like Leonardo's are with the sword. It's hard to say. I don't think they specified. I was trying to compare like feats of strength, and the best I had for Leonardo was like holding the T-Rex mouth open, and I thought that was like 12,000 pounds per square inch, right? And then Jason's feat was like the boulder, and the one that they specifically mentioned him lifting, I think they said was 69 tons, and I don't remember how much a ton is exactly. I thought it was like 2,000 pounds-ish, and if that's the case, that would be way more than the 12,000 pounds per square inch, or whatever, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, no, PSI, pounds per square inch, right? Than the T-Rex was, but that's only... Google. Alexa, how much does a ton weigh in pounds? It's 2,000 pounds. Thank you. All right, cool. So like, right? So then that would be like a lot. so I'm gonna say that is more. That's more than the T-Rex thing. As far as training is concerned, I want to say that Leonardo does have more experience, having been raised by Splinter from like childhood. I mean, they're both teenagers at this point. Jason obviously is very accomplished, being able to teach those different fighting styles, or at least one, you know, like at school. like he's accomplished himself, and then like the Power Ranger suit like gives him even more ability. Like they mentioned that, you know, Blue Ranger was immediately like able to become like a martial arts expert, you know, when using the morphing powers, when before he couldn't, you know, like just as a human. And so that does escalate Jason's abilities, but there's still a matter of experience. And, you know, Leonardo has also gone down the whole Bushido route, and so has, like, more discipline and everything, and he has, like, the healing hands and stuff like that. But Jason doesn't necessarily need the healing hands as long as he, like, his power with the morphing grid stays active, because then that will just deflect the blows. I don't think, really, that Jason is going to be able to get off, like, the big gun, because I imagine that Leonardo would be able to dodge that, but based upon like their weapons themselves, it seems like they would both be capable of ending each other. So with all of that in mind, it seems like Jason just has like a few more advantages, and obviously I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say that Jason is going to win this one and play. And frankly, I'd like it if he did, because I like Jason more than I like Leonardo. Wow, Jason, watch where you're going. That was rude.
Dude!
Sorry, I'm late for one of Frida's monsters.
Oh no!
Give me a break. You're the monster for ruining my pizza.
That's fair.
Time to take out the trash.
I don't blame Jason for thinking that though.
Don't count me out yet.
Jason not even bringing out a weapon yet. Dude has two swords and he's just gonna keep punching him. There we go.
Don't blame me for not being impressed.
Really, dude?
Leo has other swords, it's fine. Ow!
Cheap shot.
Oh no, he healed himself.
Yo, what are you doing down there?
Sorry, tights. I'm all healed up. Behold the immortal turtle!
The immortal turtle.
I love being a turtle!
Ow. Oh no! Well, there's one more sword down. Oh! Leonardo!
That was bonkers.
Jeez.
KO! Looks like Leo totally didn't see that coming.
Are you gonna keep reusing that one, or should I expect something new?
Oh, I'm sorry, do you want me to shell out some more puns?
Fine, fine. Leonardo certainly had more martial arts experience than Jason, and he was likely a bit faster, as we've seen him dodge lightning more reliably. If it were just up to those two factors, the Ninja Turtle may have won.
But you know there's more to it. Sure, Leo had some super tough defense on his side, but Jason had the oomph to crack that shell.
First of all, Leonardo's superior training was a moot point, as Jason's morph granted him a broad mastery of martial arts talent automatically.
Kinda cheap if you ask me, but
There's still an amount of
that's
combat
Power Rangers
experience
for
just
ya.
as far as
But
like,
let's talk numbers.
again,
Giving Leonardo
tactics,
the
but
benefit of the doubt, we scaled his level of toughness to his recurring villain Baron Draxum.
Who's fought Leo a bunch of times. Remember how Draxum survived his lab exploding?
Yes.
That's definitely the best durability feat Leo could possibly match.
By scaling the lab to the height of the characters, then deducing the size of the explosion itself, its explosive yield must equal about 12 tons of TNT.
But what about when the
Pretty
Rangers
impressive,
base
but
was
then we used the
destroyed?
same method on the control center exploding while Jason was inside, and it came out to 550 tons of TNT.
Wow, okay.
45 times greater than Leonardo.
So clearly Jason was much tougher, but we still had to find their overall strength. To do that, we compared Leo's bug-crushing pillar to the Rangers bowling with boulders.
Using granite as an average potential density and scaling the pillar to Leonardo's height, it appears to weigh about 240 metric tons.
Okay.
Still impressive, but way less than the 11,000-ton boulder. The Red Ranger couldn't just crack that shell, he could make turtle soup out of it.
Leonardo held
Cool.
some advantages in speed and skill, making this fight far from one-sided. However, Jason's superior strength, arsenal, and powers quickly turned the tide.
His Ranger of abilities does what Leonardo don't.
The winner
Ha!
is Jason,
Claps
the
for
Red
Jason.
Ranger.
The Red Ranger.
Hey, thanks for watching this.
Not
episode
to be
of Death
confused
Battle.
with
Don't
that,
battle
you know,
with
serial
yourself.
killer.
You can get it by clicking the link down below.
And if you want to watch more stuff, check the boxes right over there.
All right. Next time on Death Battle. War Machine. Yeah, I don't know. Janos. I don't know who that is. I want to say it's actually from One Punch Man. I recognize the name, but I haven't seen One Punch Man, so I don't know who that is. But War Machine, yeah, like Iron Man. All right, cool. All right, let's talk about this death battle then. So, once again, because last time I had a similar thing, I'm happy because not only was I right, because, if you're right, that can often just be kind of a 50-50 if you just want to throw out a guess. But the fact that I mentioned Leonardo did have more experience, and I even brought up the lightning feats and pointed out that Leonardo was more reliable than Jason, according to them. But then everything else seemed to be in Jason's favor, and that's what they said in the conclusion, more or less, obviously, like, paraphrasing, really summarizing that. But, so I'm just happy that I was able to pick up on some things, That doesn't always happen. Sometimes I am completely wrong. And so I like to take these victories for myself. So yeah, I'll pat myself on the back for that. As for the animation, I enjoyed this one. It actually had a story. I care about that. I like when there's a story. I don't know what Jason was running late for. And frankly, I don't know how he was so bad that not only did he not notice Leonardo as he was approaching him as a turtle just out in the open eating pizza, but he ran into him on the sidewalk. Like, if he's so in the way that you're gonna run into him like that, when you have like a lot, it's not like he rounded the corner and ran into him, right? There was a straight line, he's running, and then he ran into him. And then he noticed that he was a turtle, so it was weird, but whatever. And then how that led to like Leonardo dropping the pizza, and I like Jason like, oh no, one of Rita's monsters, just immediately starts attacking him. I thought it was amusing. The shifting in the animation was interesting. It wasn't like as well executed as I think it has been in the past with other death battles, but it was interesting all the same. Just a nice way to switch it up and to be able, of course, to have different animations than what some sprites would allow, just because obviously sprites can be limited in terms of what kinds of movements they offer. And being able to play around with the environment, different camera angles as they went through their different moves and abilities and weapons and whatnot. I thought that overall it was well done, so I definitely enjoyed this animation, and I enjoyed this death battle overall. As for Genos versus War Machine, I don't really know what to expect, but if he is indeed from One Punch Man, then honestly, right now I'm leaning toward him in a fight against War Machine, because One Punch Man is a powerful universe. But let me know what you thought about this death battle in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. And next time we will be watching the one with War Machine and the other guy. So that's the end of this video. With that, we're calling it here. Have a good one, everybody.